everyone. Welcome back to the Nigeria in Focus show, where we get to discuss topical issues affecting the nation. My name is Bukola Adimula, and it's a pleasure to be your host for today. Our topic for this episode is youth development in focus. In this particular episode, we'll be discussing the vital topic of youth development in Nigeria, and also we'll take you through a journey of the success stories, the challenges, and the triumph of Nigeria youth in shaping their future and the nation's destiny, from employment to leadership to civic engagement. We'll be looking at the key sector that impact the Nigeria youth in this country. With me today are two inspiring youth leaders and youth advocates who will be sharing experience from their field and also the path forward. Before we dive into this conversation, I will give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Temiloluwa Oyeniyi, and I am an honorable member of the Oyo State Youth Parliament. I am also a community development expert, a community organizer, and above all, a chartered public administrator, and it's so nice to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us, Temiloluwa.
Pleasure.
My name is Benita Ezumezu, and I'm a social impact practitioner and also a youth development expert. And I'm also a community mobilizer, and it's an honor to be here today.
Thank you so much. As I said at the beginning of my introduction, I said we have two inspiring youth leaders who are passionate about youth development. Starting with you, Temi, what do you think, how will you describe the current state of youth development in Nigeria?
Well, I can boldly say that it's been quite a rough patch. The reason why I said it's been quite rough is because youths in Nigeria are talented, but unfortunately they do not have the enabling environment. But the current state is that youths are coming up, youths are awakening, youths are actually understanding the need to be conscious of their environment. Youths are starting to understand what Nigeria is. Youth are getting conversant with the lifestyle of Nigeria and the need to be patriotic citizens and the need to take part in the development of our nation. So I can say that the current state has been, quite an interesting thing so far. I mean, since the 2020 NSAS protest, it has been a very interesting journey.
Okay, thank you so much. And from you, Benita?
Well, just like she rightly mentioned, I think we've been doing a lot of, youth have been doing a lot of work concerning their involvement in the development space. But I would still say that I think we still have some loopholes that we need to address as youths. We need to do more on research. We need to update our researching skills so that, we can. I think we're really doing a lot, but I think we need to do a lot more on research.
Okay, the research from your angle is like get more data or...
Yes, get more data, get more details so that we can focus on the main problem. Most times what youth do, we're now focused on just what they're not getting the details of exactly what they want to do. They just feel like, okay, this is what is happening. They don't get details of the major problem. So just like a program that we worked on the Social Justice Academy. We gathered youth, young people, young experts who we could, get issues. We could understand the issue and then get sustainable solutions to those issues, rather than just focusing on, okay, we want the government to do something. What's the issue? We're not digging deep into the issue, right? So basically, I think we need to do a lot more on research to get the issues so that we can get sustainable solutions to address those issues.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's like cutting just the branches. We're not going deep into the roots, like what is truly wrong with Nigeria. True. Thank you so much for that. Coming back to you, Temiloluwa, what are kind of like success stories that you think Nigeria youth... I mean, at the beginning you said Nigeria youth were patriotic, were vibrant. So what are the examples of, young Nigerians that kind of making changes in their community? Can you just share light on example of young Nigerians?
All right. So from my personal experience, I didn't want to mention this, but I'm the personal assistant to the Speaker, Nigerian Youth Parliament, and I'm also the I would say the admin and program officer. And in the last 12 months, I've always been receiving calls from the office line from youths that are interested in setting up programs, I mean community programs that they are very passionate about. They are, like you said, issues that are very paramount and they are willing to take part in them. So, for instance, I've handled some projects, some programs for the Nigerian Youth Parliament. We've done inclusive election where we had persons with disabilities to engage them on processes of democracy. I mean, electioneering processes and democratic issues, how they go about their exercising their democratic rights. And of course, we know that persons with disabilities are sidelined. So of course, we had the reason to engage them. Then we've had a series of events. One of my colleagues did an event on in Liberia, educating young Nigerians on sustainable development. We also have some UN ambassadors that are Nigerians to Chicago, to New York, that are UN ambassadors, and they are doing very well. An example is a project I managed in Ibadan, Youth Development Center for the sustainable development with a focus on peace building and also partnership with the goals. So I think that in some states, at least 32 states of the 36 states that we have in Nigeria, they have a youth parliament and they are active youth. I'm also a youth parliamentarian in my state representing my constituency. And during the election, I was a supervisor, the election supervisor for my party. And it's interesting that, youths are exposed to a lot of challenges in the political system. I will be speaking from the political point of view.
Yeah, I'm already getting the vibe already.
And we've had a lot of programs.
Yeah.
And then to add to what she said, I know recently I was a part of this group where different organizations came together to put in reports of project that they've worked on on youth, right? And then it's the democracy convening where we're working on a reporting-based system where we could report issues or, issues or issues affecting Nigerians, issues that you can report crimes, you can report situations. It's more like a situation report. So I think with that, that's another success story that is also coming out. Then also I was privileged to also be a part of the joint body community and organization where about 90 organizations came together to launch another report. I mean, we're doing a lot. We're really doing
And there are
a
young
lot.
people urging this particular
Young people heading
initiative.
this initiative. So I think with time you get to see that there are more of these programs.
That's actually a good one. And even just in addition to what the answers you guys gave, just in addition, I mean, fintechs, paystack, these are young people heading it. These are young people doing something amazing to society. Let's even go to the climate change. These are people that, your plastic, they are renovating it. I saw one on LinkedIn, like using plastic to make bags.
Yeah.
That's innovative idea, and this is, though there's still a lot to be done, but at the same time there's some success story out of all of this that we're saying. So yeah, thank you so much for your contribution. And back to you, Benita. What are the challenges you think our young people are facing when it comes to employment and education in our country?
Oh, that's a very interesting topic. Because I know that young people, one of the major challenges that we face is access. Access to technology, access to opportunities, access to funding. I mean, you can name it, access to quality education. There are so many issues that young people face, but these are the major issue is access. Youth don't have enough. We don't have access to these things. We don't have access. There's lack of access to mentorship, access to leadership skills, access to career building, access to capacity building, access to mentorship. I mean, these are the major challenges that I know that youth face in the development space.
Thank you so much for that. And do you have any addition from your hand?
Well, one of the major challenges that I have observed is that we need platforms. Yes, there have been a lot of platforms, but we need more youth to be in the decision-making platforms. I was just watching a video on YouTube recently. I don't know. There's talent show, a lot of talent shows in Nigeria, and we see a lot of non-governmental organizations coming up and sponsoring a lot of talent. And it came to my mind that why don't we have Minister of Entertainment? Why don't we have Minister of Technology?
We have Minister of Happiness.
Please. Why don't we have Minister of Entertainment? One person that looks deep. If we can make Davido Minister of Entertainment, I think it's not a big deal. If we can make Burna Boy Minister of Entertainment, it's not a big deal. It just makes it more inclusive. I think there's the need to create platforms that make youth more inclusive. So I was just thinking to myself that if we can have Minister for Youth and Sport, it cannot overlook all of the sectors that we have that youths are managing. So let's have Minister of Entertainment, Minister of Technology. These are the things that are just coming up. They are good developments and they are ideologies of the youth. And if they are not properly managed, that's why we see a lot of youth absconding. And you notice that a lot of youths are just abroad and they are dancing and they are already social media influencers, something that we ought to be using in our own country. I feel like we are too uptight, we are too serious. That's why you see a lot of us, we are too serious as well. You get so, but there is competition in the corporate world. But there is a lot of money, hidden money in the entertainment world that we are not grasping because we feel like it's not necessary. All these youths, they are too wayward. They like party. But there is money in it. Look at Big Brother Naija, for instance. Someone just won 120 million. Where did they get it from? So that shows that there's a lot of money in entertainment. So let's create more platforms. Let's try to understand from the youth perspective and create a platforms that allow them to be inclusive in the system. How many bills do we pass on entertainment? The only bills that will pass on entertainment is something that will put an end to entertainment in Nigeria. And look at them in America. You see Britain Got Talent. You see America Got Talent. They are making money in it, and their governments are actually contributing to the success of those platforms. So I feel like there's the need to create more platforms that are youth inclusive.
Thank you so much for that. I got from your point, Benita, the access and you platform, because most policies that are youth focused or the government tend to be like, oh, this is youth focused, they don't actually most times bring the youth to that table. I mean, it's like they just imagine that this is a problem that youth are facing, and they just imagine, just like Benita said at the beginning, the solution, they just cut it from that branch and be like, okay, I think this is what they should do. They don't go into the research they mentioned, that process of looking at what is actually the issue. Because I'm sure when you ask them what is the issue of unemployment and education, for they just cut it again from the branches. As a member of the Nigeria Youth Parliament, what role do you think leadership plays in shaping the future of Nigeria youth, and how can it be nurtured?
Okay, so I would start with the appointment. All right. I was discussing with some of my colleagues some days ago, and I thought to myself, I should already be an essay to the governor on something affairs, because the purpose of setting up the parliament is to what? Is to train young people into the culture of policy making, into political culture, to train us, to prepare us into decision making processes, to make us learn how to draft policies, to make policies. And I feel like for like 2 years, I feel like I've learned some things. So there's the need for you to let me what? Practice. So I think that Nigerian decision makers, or let me say stakeholders, need to understand that if you don't test the waters, you won't know whether it is warm or it is hot. So don't just assume that youths are over ambitious. They already have the skills, even without your contribution. They already have the skills, they have the talent. They just need you to. It's just like you go to the village and you want to change their structure, their economic structure. They make black soap in that village. They make gari in that, they produce gari in the village. And then you go to the village and you say, let's abandon your black soap and your garri. The world is focusing on technology. We'll teach all of you how to work on the computer. That's misplaced priority. Because instead of focusing on that, you should focus on their black soap and garri, how they can be making 100 black soap, cup full of black soap every week, be producing it. There's an exchange rate, there's money coming from exchange rate, there's good road network, there is government partnering with individuals in that community. So I feel like there's the need for stakeholders to understand their priorities. We are the youth. We are already calling ourselves leaders of today. So we are already training ourselves. So we already have talented youth. So it is their responsibility to consult with the youth. Consult with them. Okay, we have youth leaders. Aside from the youth parliament, we have at the 36 states, we have Nigerians at the national level, we have NYCN, we have NYC, we have this, we have that, youth forum, coalition of youth, we have NANS, we have youth, we have a lot of embodiment of youth. So it is the duty of the stakeholders to understand their needs. Okay, these are your needs. What do you have? What can you bring to the table? What are the values? That's why you see a lot of youths that they go about the society with no value. What are your values? Oh, you have the skill. You know how to do public speaking. How can we utilize your public speaking skills with foreign exchange? What can it bring to the table for us? How can we harness your skill to promote development at all levels? But a lot of people, they are running away. They are going because of greener pastures. If you see an opportunity to japa, my dear sister. Because at the end of the day, we go abroad, we travel abroad, and we do the jobs. I mean, when I say the jobs, you know what I mean by the jobs. Because you have to get to a certain level, get your citizenship, be a citizen of that particular land before you start working, before you start doing the real job. So I think that there's the need for, first, stakeholders to understand their priorities. Second, to harness youth skills. Third, to consult with youth at all levels. Go to the local community. You are fine, you are beautiful. Go to the local community and see what their youths are doing. They don't have the basic education. They don't have access to all of these things that we have access to. Their voices are not heard because they are the local. I've worked with a lot of local communities because they are the local level, so they don't have the exposure. Give them the exposure instead of them running to Lagos, coming to Abuja. By the way, Abuja is very expensive. Instead of coming to Abuja, traveling to Lagos, they can stay in their community and bring prosperity to their community. So I think, those are just the 3 factors I feel like stakeholders should focus on.
To nurture their leadership for
Yes.
young people. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I mean, the way you speak, you're really speaking from a political view. Yeah, thank you so much.
I think I already mentioned that.
To add to what you say, I think most times one of the major problems that these leaders have is to match the skills, how they can provide opportunities for over 200 million youths. So they have these issues. Okay, how can we do this? But they forget that they have the resources to do it. They have the people to actually provide these skills to young people. But they are focused. The truth about life is when you're focused on the problem, you don't understand that the solution is right beside, is right around you. So they have, just like you mentioned, we have the NYC, you have the NYC, and you have NAN, you have Nigerian Youth Parliament. How are they maximizing these organizations, these youth organizations, to ensure that youth are actually provided with these leadership skills that they would need in the future? So
you see, to expatiate, yeah, I feel like Nigerian a senior colleague in public administration once told me that, Temi, in Nigeria, the solution to one problem is the beginning of another problem. All right, and I think that's a theory in administration actually, which is very justifiable. But I feel like, we don't even need to focus on one person's each person's needs. Bukola here, she knows me, and she knows like maybe 5 other persons from me, and she also has colleagues, friends who are professionals. She knows you because you are professional. All right, so you only need to create a platform for one person to bring in 10 people. When the idea of learn a trade, when Nigerians they hear a new thing, they tend to
Jump into
my
it.
mom say go and learn fashion. You have to learn this fashion design. I say, so you teach me how to make money with fashion designing because you have your tailor, you have your tailor, you have your tailor. So I will now go out and start looking for. Sure, you understand? I feel like it's not my thing. But what I think is that if you are a fashion designer, a fashion designer rather, and you establish an organization, you can bring in more people. An organization will need a marketer. An organization will need an administrator. An organization will need a strategist. An organization, when you have 10 people in an organization, you need an HR. And it is a matter of one phone call because it's already a small world, right? So one breakthrough for one person is breakthrough for like 10, 20 people. So it's just a matter of giving a call. Temi, I know that you are Ogbonge public. You must call me when you bring it. You are Ogbonge public administrator. Let's work together, and we'll come together and work together. So it doesn't have to be understanding each person's needs. And the interesting thing is that when you ask an average Nigerian that what do you need right now, Kola already knows what she needs. You already know what you need. You already know, and let me guess, it's money. You see? So everybody, we have a generic need. We only need access to what? To get our needs. So if I have a stable job and I'm relaxed, I'll be fine, with getting access to that my need. So I feel like it's not necessarily, focusing on each person's need. We already have a generic need. So the only thing is having access to some resources that will make us actualize our needs.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, this conversation we're having from the political view, and we're having from the civic view. It's really, really a very, very balanced conversation we're having. Okay, back to you, Benita. So what has, we've talked of the challenges, we've talked of the needs, where we think the government are not doing enough, where we think they are doing enough. So could you highlight some specific policy or initiative that are, aim at enhancing youth development in Nigeria currently?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that. I think we have, she has actually mentioned a few, but we have so many policies that are initiative that is aimed at enhancing youth development. I will start with the Empower Initiative. We know of the Empower Initiative, how much it provides job opportunities, creates skills, capacity development programs, and all of that. Also, we have the NJFP, Nigerian Jubilee Fellowship Program, that provides a job opportunity for youths, for young people.
Are you aware that they're about to scrap Empower?
Empower. Oh, they're about to.
Yes, I think I read in the news on
Yeah,
Sunday.
So that's a
They are
recent
making
it's a
deliberation
on removing.
scraping Empower.
So I think there should be a platform where we could fight against scrapping it, because I think it's been very helpful to a very good extent, because it has provided job opportunity for a whole lot of youth. I know a lot of people that have benefited from that initiative. I know a whole lot of people. So if they're going to scrap it, would there be another alternative, another intervention that would help, that would close that gap?
Sure.
So we can expand more on this NGFP, where they match individuals to host organizations, and where they're able to work and train for a longer period, for a year, right? We could expand more on that rather than thinking of scrapping. I don't think the government should be thinking of scrapping an opportunity that provides.
Well, the problem is there's no sustainability plan. There are a lot of factors attached to it. And in Empower, what I observed, because it was when I was going for service, they started Empower, or towards when I was going for service. And I observed that there are a lot of favoritism, there's a lot of red tapism, there's a lot of, a lot of factors attached to it, giving the wrong job to the wrong person. And because my daddy knows somebody that knows somebody, let me enter Empower. So a lot of those factors affected the ideology behind Empower. And it's not absolutely the people's fault. It's because there's the high rate of unemployment. And of course, at some points they couldn't pay salaries. They couldn't pay salaries because there is NYSC. It's one of the policies that have been initiated over the years. NYSC is a platform to train youths and to prepare them for employment. And of course, some people get lucky and they get retained. Some of us, somebody like me, was very, very unlucky because I was serving in one very remote village. All right. So I think that when government is setting up all of these things, there's the need for them to have a sustainability plan. There was once a time they wanted to scrap NYSC as well. I think that was in 2021, thereabout. They wanted to scrap NYSC. So I think that if government can focus on the factors, that are hindering these initiatives from sustaining its core objectives, I think there's going to be a solution.
And so, that is why research comes in. So if you say they should focus on the problems, what are the problems? How do they want to know the problems if they don't engage with people in the grassroots?
So that's like a problem. They do not engage.
They don't engage enough
with
to
young
understand what is causing the problem that is leading to the lack of sustainability.
Yes.
So
I think, I studied local government and development studies. Splash. All right. So I did more of grassroots development. And I don't like talking about local government, but I love talking about local people. The reason is because I do not exactly trust local governance. And but what I have learned, from what I have studied, I observe that if we can focus more on the local governance at all states in Nigeria, I'm sure that we are going to achieve national development because the local government is closer to the people. And as much as I would like to support local government autonomy, I would say that we are not ready for that autonomy. But I would say that if we can focus on local governance, where the people have access to the government, they hold the government responsible, then it's easy for us to hold our government accountable. And it's easy for us to go to the government with our needs. I'm talking more about governance, Abi, because it affects everything. Politics affects economy, it affects our social structure. So I feel if we want to focus our development, we'll focus on the grassroots, like you said, because we cannot achieve national development unless we achieve local development.
How do you think civic engagement can empower young people to take initiative in their community? How do you think it can? Can you give us some example or how it can go about?
Okay, I would start by saying increase awareness. How can we increase the awareness? More conversations, more community projects, more engagement, civic engagement activities, more focus group, more town hall meetings where you can meet. And when you say focus group, you're able to get to the grassroots that we want. You're able to get, when you want town hall, you get bigger set of people. You're able to reach out to these policymakers to also be on the same table with citizens that are affected, with youth that are affected. That way you're able to put on the table your issues, right? And then they can understand it from your own perspective, right? Have more platforms where youth can voice out. Youth can say, okay, this is what they want without fear.
Without fear.
Without fear. How can we create? So the whole point is to create that platforms. And how do we create that platform? Having more advocacy programs, having more media outreach. Most times what we're focused on are, you're doing awareness. Okay, I'm doing awareness on Instagram, I'm doing awareness on LinkedIn. How do I want Mr. Shukudi in Enugu Owerri village? Or how do I want Mama Yabo in Oshun or Oyo, like you rightly mentioned? How do you want them to get the information? How do you want them to get involved? So we need to also organize platforms and media engagement that would also, we have over 500 languages in Nigeria. How do we reach these people with these languages? So we need to create more platforms that are diversified, that we could reach these local people in local communities, and then they can also understand and then also speak in their language where they understand. Do more programs on pidgin. Do more programs on, there are so many languages. While I was in school, most times when I hear Yoruba language, I laugh because it's different from the normal Yoruba language. And I'm like, okay, there was a time I heard Camille, and I'm like, which one is Camille? I don't know if you understand. But the truth is, that is how they're able to express themselves. But how do they get into that platform? When they are meeting you, you are telling them, oh, I remember when I also served in Osun State, and when I want to buy something, it's difficult for me to communicate with them, even when I don't have time. So what they will tell me is, just go. When you have the money, bring it. Look at that trust, because they feel uncivilized. I won't cheat them. I don't know. So what I'm trying to say is, at least there should be more of that platforms where we can also reach the grassroots, people in the local communities. We should also encourage community projects, local community projects, like you mentioned, Black Soap. Encourage it. It doesn't, we encourage it and try to, okay, we are producing 10 now. Okay, let's sponsor you, let's do this, let's make it 100. We could try more exporting rather than just focusing on, okay, we want, there's international Black Soap.
Yes.
So imagine you're coming to our country to pick our resources and taking it over there too. I don't know if you, so these are the things that we should focus on more local projects, community projects, increase advocacy that covers a wide range of citizens. I think basically that's it for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. You have something to add on the civic engagement, how we can empower young people to be agents of change in their community?
I think that there's the need for young people to have a sense of ownership. This is governance. Without the people, there's no government. Without the people, there's no democracy. So there's the need for youth to have that sense of ownership. It is our own kind of sense. It is our own. Let's see, a senior colleague would say, see Nigeria as a person. So if you don't want Nigeria to be disorganized, if you don't want Nigeria to be poor, then what can you do to Nigeria? So there's the need for us to have that sense of it is our own, it is our thing. Let's manage it together. Let's work on it together. So I think that could work if there's inclusiveness. Let's keep talking about inclusivity. When she mentioned, I think I also agree with the fact that we should go to local level, speak their language, relate with them. That way they have a sense of ownership. You'll be surprised that you go to all of these local and you ask them what's the full meaning of INEC. They don't even know it. They just know that they want to go and vote. Hey, ABC, PDP, and all of that. And we saw it play out in the last election.
Sure.
We saw it play out. The only thing they want to hear is
Umbrella.
And you see, the funny thing is that in my constituency, for instance, where I supervised, the polling units that I supervised and voted, there was a woman that wanted to vote for Egbe Olombrella. But unfortunately, there's another party who has a logo that looks like an umbrella. The intention is to vote for the Egbe Olombrella, but she went to vote for the other this thing, and then she realized that I did not vote that I went to vote for, and then it was declared null and void. So I think that there's the need for us to look for strategies that will make everybody included. You'll be surprised that people at these local levels are the people that vote the most. The last election, I saw shaking. I had real experience, practical experience. I mean, we had to go to those local level and start, building machineries, the babas and the mamas and all of. Don't let me be telling you the tricks of we'll see after the service.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sorry, also to add to what she said, inclusivity, also the PWDs. We need to create more platforms to also involve them. We know most times you see someone that is deaf, does not even understand, or someone that is blind. I mean, we need to create more platforms to also, like she rightly said, when there is a sense of ownership, it creates room for what? Responsibility. You feel like you're responsible for this because you feel like it is your own. But when the sense of ownership is not even there, well, it's not my country. After all, soon Jackpot, it's not my business. So I think I also agree with her. More inclusive responsibility and yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, if you're on this table, you will just feel like the conversation should keep going on, but we are running out of time. So one round question for my guests, and that will be all for this episode. Starting with you, Benita. How do you think civil society, the government, and private sector can collaborate to provide opportunities for young people? What I'm expecting is just like a punch answer of, okay, from civil society, this is what you should do for opportunity for young people. From the government, this is what we're expecting for them. As a young person, how do you think this three agent can collaborate to create more opportunities for us young people?
Okay, three punchline, like you said. Before we start story. Okay. Okay, so for CS, for civil society organization, more platforms as well, more advocacy, more media engagement, more mentorship, more what else?
Don't say all my answers.
Okay, then for the government, I feel access to funding, access to capacity building programs, access to employment, access to opportunity. Let me stop there so that Temiloluwa would,
Okay.
highlight some point.
All right. So I will start with the government because they are the machinery, And what I want to say about the government is that more inclusive policies that includes everybody, irrespective of the gender, of the status, of whatever, practicing true democracy. Then, aside from that, there is the need for consultation, more consultation. Consult with the right people, consult with civil society organizations, consult with the concerned. All right? You cannot be planning for the poor when you have not consulted with people that are actually affected. What do they want? What do they need? So there's the need for that. And like she rightly said, more funds. Like there's the need for access for funds. Then they should build more platforms in governance. Because that thing, they pay me like this. More platforms in governance. Let's have more young people in governance. We cannot all be wayward or whatever it is. We cannot all be the same. We have brilliant minds. We have people that are technocrats. I seem like that's the word these days. So there's the need for us to have more platforms in governance. And for civil society organizations, I think that they are doing a very good job already, because if not for them, a lot of Nigerians will be living in poverty, will be dead right now. So I think that they should do more of advocacy as well. Speak the language that everybody understands, involve everybody. And of course, don't run after just grants, because that seems to be the hot cake now. It's not just about grants. It's not just about doing a roundtable discussion, talking about people that are poor in Transcorp Hilton Hotel.
Where the poor people cannot access.
So let's go back to the grassroots. Let's go and do the actual program for the actual people. You cannot be discussing agriculture and I will be there. It's not my work, but I will be there because I want access to free hotel. I want access to free food. I want access to, you don't know if I'm not eating for 3 days. So, but I will go there anyway, but I'm not concerned. So let's go back to the grassroots and let's do the right programs for the right people. It's not just about the fund, it's about the quality of the productivity of what you are going to use with the resources that you have. So there's the need for us to do the right things for the right people and put the right people in the right places. So
and then to foster collaboration, to add, most times when you say and government already feels like CSOs are fighting them. but they're fighting against it.
Yeah, I noticed.
So most times, as a CSO, as a development practitioner, what you want to understand is you're not going to fight the government. So when you're taking an initiative to them or a policy or a room to create room for collaboration, you're not going to fight them. You're going to tell them, okay, because I know that I am in this space with these people, I have done my research. The government may not conduct a research, but that's the job of CSOs. They conduct research and then they take it to the government and let them know, okay, this is the research we have done. This is what we want, like the report we launched. At least from our reports, a Nigeria for the many, not the few, a manifesto for the Nigeria that we desire. I mean, what do we need? This is what the youth want. We need quality education, we need employment, we need access to funding, we need security, we need so many things, we need inclusion. We need, I mean, so many things. But then when the government see you come, oh, CSO, this people. Yeah. But when they've come to understand that you're only trying to build a relationship so that even the people that they are unable to reach, you would help them reach. I think that's what CSOs need to understand, and that's what government also needs to understand, that collaboration makes things.
And I think we are forgetting the private sector. Yes. Let us spare the private sector. Let us breathe. Let us breathe. This oppression is too much. Let me face the camera. Let us breathe. One person for 10 jobs. Let us breathe. Now, unemployed, we dey unemployed. Let us breathe. Not that one person. I stopped working for the private sector because a lot of toxic environments. Imagine someone telling me to write 6 contents every day. And I'm the social media manager, I am the strategic whatever, I am the one doing podcasts, I am the one doing Twitter space, I am the one, the idea bank, and you expect me to still write 6 stories per day. Let us breathe. Please tell the private sector we can collaborate, we can work together. There are a lot of young people that are young entrepreneurs, they are young CEOs, we are colleagues. Now unemployed, we dey unemployed. It's not our fault. Let us work together. Let's collaborate. There's the need for collaboration. Don't say it's not concerning. The funny thing about private sector, they will say that they don't owe the government anything. You can't go for public holiday. Let us breathe now. They will even had Saturday join. Yeah. So let us work. We are all colleagues. We have idea banks. Let us work together. Let's work with the government as well. We are solving the problem the government cannot solve. So don't frustrate the people that want to solve that problem. Me, I tell myself, I observe your organization for 1 month. If for 4 months your environment is toxic, sir, I'm leaving. Because I know that I bring value to the table. I am talented, so I'll go to the next person. If the next person treats me anyhow, I leave. I don't need your recommendation. I don't need anything from you. Why? Because I know that I am productive, I am effective, I am efficient. Tell yourself that I am efficient. No, it's just a reaffirmation. Because you work with some private sectors and you'll be like, Jesus, kilo day, is this the end of the world? So let us work together. Let's collaborate together. Let's work with the CSOs, know about the updates, know about mental health, know about poverty. A lot of people are living in poverty that when you offer them 30K, they are willing to call it. I did a lot of poverty jobs. Come and ask me. I did a lot of poverty jobs. Why? Because I'm looking for money, because you need to take care of some basic things in your life. So you just run to any job and you want to do it. But then let's be considerate. It's better to have 10 people in the organization, pay them 20K, and they can do other things with their life, rather than having them do 4 things and you are paying them peanuts. It's quite unfair. So let's work together and collaborate.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, that last one was supposed to be a random question, but since we started another conversation, thank you so much for staying with us up to now.
Play your part too, all right? Play your part, all right?
And are you putting me? Can I have my last show?
Yes, you can.
Thank you so much to our live viewers for staying with us up to now. We've come to the end of this episode. I hope you're able to get 1 or 2 things from us. And for my two guests, once again, thank you so much, Benita, for joining me on this table. And thank you, Timmy, for joining us. Until next time, see you. Bye.